Hello, everybody. I'm excited to be here on another episode of what is now Rise with Tenacity. My name is Katie Ganderton. I'm also known as Tenacious Kate. And welcome to Rise with Tenacity podcast. And so I want to talk a little bit about this, kind of growth that we're moving towards. And I'm really looking forward to it because, I love doing the podcast. I love teaching. I love all of that kind of stuff. But I also know that it is best to learn and grow through stories, right? And as much as you hear my stuff or through my scenarios, like I'm only me. And I know that there are hundreds and thousands of women out there that have got unbelievable and remarkable stories on how they have risen to success through tenacity. And so we are going to be moving in that direction of bringing a lot more interviews and guests onto this podcast for all of you guys to go through exactly that, to hear those stories, to get those tidbits, to get those nuggets from those specific people. And so, I would love to know, just off the bat, as a leader in your own company, maybe you're going, gosh, I do love when I hear people's stories because there's, when we talk about people's stories, there's something that happens, right? You can hear something from one person that you maybe don't relate to. And it just kind of is like, okay, but then you can hear maybe it's the exact same thing, but it's from somebody that has maybe walked a similar path as you. And you take an entirely different nugget away from that coaching, from that training, from that podcast. And, so I would encourage you, and, I would ask this question of you is if you know of somebody that you think would be an awesome fit for this podcast, they do need to be a five-figure earner or a 6 or 7-figure earner to be on the podcast. But if you are thinking of someone, you're like, yeah, I love her story. Like she's absolutely awesome. She would be amazing. Please drop their name. You can shoot me an email at info@thegritandgracelife.com. You can also, you can message into in the podcast. We've got, if you're on Spotify, you can answer the questions there. But or you can reach us in our Tenacious Kate community over on Facebook and say, hey, I know somebody for that podcast of yours. I think they'd be absolutely amazing because we really want to highlight them and we want to hear from you because, my reach is only so far. So if we can broaden that reach, that would be amazing. But, I definitely feel like this is really a good thing because it's going to be something that speaks louder, speaks wider. And there's going to be topics that maybe I have never experienced in my journey with this industry that someone else can speak to. And there might be a different life scenario that I haven't experienced or career, that I can't speak to or relate to that somebody else might be able to relate to and find that as motivation for their success or drive. And to be able to look to somebody and say, gosh, that person did it. I know I can have success in this. It's just a matter of, looking at, okay, what are some of the avenues maybe they took? What were some of the things that they have overcome that I'm dealing with right now? How did they handle those scenarios? And I feel like that's just so important to bring to this community instead of continuing on. And I still I still will probably do some different trainings here and there on some specific topics. However, I truly do feel that stories are something that provide hope. They allow people to walk out on faith when they see someone that's done it before them. Because fear is a real thing. Fear is something, that we do make up, but it's real. It's a real thing, unfortunately, for a lot of people. And that is one thing that if I can help stomp out for people is that you can do anything you put your mind to. And that if it's been put in you, then it is for you. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It doesn't mean it's that their challenges are not going to come your way. It doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight, right? We don't know that timeline, but we do know that if it's in us, it's for us. And so what I firmly believe is that if you can walk that path and walk in faith and, do it until, right? And not have that timeline on there, and do it until that you truly will see success, and as you follow that path. And that is something I firmly believe, and I've seen come true personally several times in my life. And it's been really, really great to see people that I've known have success as that, almost like, I don't want to say idol, because I feel like idolizing somebody is not a healthy thing, but to see them as a light, to see them as like a pillar of hope, that it is possible, and to know that, gosh, okay, things do take time. I think that's one of the biggest misrepresentations that we get in this industry of, direct selling, social selling, network marketing, is that we truly expect results the next day. And I know you guys have probably heard it a bazillion times that it takes time. It takes time. However, we always seem to forget that, and we seem to never give ourselves grace. We seem to always be our worst critic when it comes to somebody not answering us, someone saying no. Excuse me. And it's one of the hardest things, I think, for people to overcome and remember, that it does take time, and anything worth having long term takes time. And examples of that, just real quickly, would be, gosh, people will go spend college degrees 4 or 5 years, and they may not even finish in 4 or 5 years, but they're spending this amount of years to making zero or minimal, because they're doing a part-time job while they're going to school, to then get out and typically start at the bottom, and then to start working their way up, right? So you spend all this time to then go do a career that is going to take 20, 30, 40 years to climb a corporate ladder, right? So that takes time, right? And you're often competing for very minimal spots at the top. And so you have that piece. You also want to talk about like weight loss. Weight loss is another one. It's like, eat healthy for like a week, and it's like, dang, why am I not 25 pounds lighter? And that's the thing, is it takes consistency, it takes time, it takes the dedication. And I think that's where that true challenge of how committed are you, how important is this to you? And that is one of the biggest challenges that people face, is their reason for doing something is often not a big enough reason. It's not enough to it's not enough to continue pulling them forward. It's not causing them that much pain to force them to really, really want to get out of that scenario, and continue moving forward until. And I feel like that is something that, as this industry continues to grow, that I can have a stance on, and to be able to educate people that it is not an overnight success. It takes a lot of time, determination. It takes a lot of grit. It takes being tenacious through all of it, and not getting caught up in minute things of, someone didn't give me this, someone didn't provide this to me, or gosh, I don't like how this person posted this, and it's causing me to not do well. Like, there's things that I feel like we reach for, and people grab at as an excuse, when truly that excuse, like, it has no determination of what kind of success you could have. But people use those things as excuses as to, that's why they have failed, is because someone else didn't do something or did do something. And that is their reason for, where they're currently at, as opposed to being resourceful, being, having that stick-withedness, and that, figure out ability about you to say, no matter what, like, my door's shut, I'm moving forward. I feel like that's just super important. And so moving forward with our podcast, which is now Rise with Tenacity, I am just elated. I'm elated to hear these stories, from one successful businesswoman to another. I'm always learning myself personally, and there's not a top to that mountain, that's called personal growth. It is an ever growing and evolving mountain. And And you can learn from these women, because when you surround yourself with other successful people, it's called the power of proximity. Like, you think differently, you act differently, you show up differently, right? You don't put up with certain behaviors. And so I really am excited to bring this to you all. I'm excited for what it's going to become and who our guests are going to be. And so stay tuned as we start to bring these guests on for you guys. And again, like I said, if you have anybody that you can think of that you know is like a multi 5-figure earner or a 6 or 7-figure earner that just lights you up and shines for other people, I want to know about them. I want them on my podcast, and we want the world to be able to hear from them and to take away some amazing tips from them. So, you guys, that is today's podcast. Short, sweet, kind of the direction we are growing into, and I am here for it and excited. So I will see you guys next week. Talk to you soon. Make sure you're in our Tenacious tribe over on Facebook. Make sure you like this, comment if you know somebody, share this with somebody so we can get in touch with them. Or you can message us again at info@thegritandgracelife.com. And then also you can find us on tenaciouskate.com for any of the coaching opportunities. I coach middle to upper level leaders on strategies of taking your business to the next level or to the top. And it's not just your beginning direct sales type of stuff. It is strategizing, looking at legs of your business, opening up your team, and really, really working down to the nitty gritty of understanding the details in the back end of your business and how to use that to coach and how to use that to move your business forward. So if you're interested in that, again, you can go to tenaciouskate.com. We are launching those programs coming up April 2023. So one-on-one coaching, very small handful. You will have to fill out an application, and then also some group coaching as well. So anyway, you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you next week. Bye.